Now, in 2018, our next guest gave football fans a summer to remember, guiding England to the best World Cup finish in nearly 2 decades.
2 years on, Gareth Southgate is helping to inspire millions of young people by sharing the story of how he went from a shy and skinny teenager to become England manager. And he joins us now. Hiya, lovely to talk to you.
Good morning, how are you doing?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Well done with this. So you say at the beginning, for any young person who is ever uncertain, confused or doubts themselves and think that they're the only one feeling the way they do, I hope you find something helpful, comforting and inspiring within this book. And then, loved it, how wonderful, the Prince of Wales, because we've both done a lot of work with the Prince's Trust, but he says, if I may say so, it's wonderful to know this inspiring book by Gareth Southgate will make a huge difference to the lives and futures of young people across the country. Many young people today face challenges and can endure setbacks, but they still have enormous potential. By believing in them, giving them crucial teamwork and leadership skills and supporting them to thrive, we can help them succeed and society to prosper. This year, more than ever, incredibly timely, Gareth.
Yes, I think so much of my work, obviously with the team, is with young people, but also with the Prince's Trust. And as you've said, I think young people maybe don't realise that people in high-profile roles suffer all these anxieties, uncertainties, lack of confidence. They just think that we're impregnable, really. And I wanted to share some of my experiences in the hope that they'll realise that they're not the only ones feeling the way they do. And as you rightly say, the last 6 months and the next year, it's never been more uncertain for young people. Yeah. So I think it's an opportunity for us all to help them on their way.
But looking at you, you can't imagine that you were ever anything other than a born leader. I mean, you're the guy at the top here. You're the guy that controls our heroes, really. So that isn't the case, though. You were very shy.
Definitely. Well, I'm not sure we control them, Holly, but...
Do our best. We try.
We'll try our best, yeah. But no, I just think everybody starts in the same place. We end up maybe doing some extraordinary things and having some extraordinary experiences, but we've all had a journey where there's been rejections, there's been failures, there's been disappointments. But of course, when you're young, you think you're the only one experiencing that. And we've tried to set out some guidelines for youngsters to follow that give them an insight into why they feel the way they do, why their brain works the way it does, and just make things into more manageable chunks, really.
And what about you then? So were you a confident teenager? Did you put your hands up when you were in class?
No, I was very quiet. I'm naturally an introvert anyway, and I've had to learn how to deal with people speaking publicly and get more confident with those sorts of things over the years. But I do think that is a process of going through experiences. I don't actually think leaders are born. I think it's a nurture thing, and you're a product of the experiences that happen to you through your life.
And also, you're a really good example of how somebody who is a leader has also failed. I mean, you talk about it in the book. You talk about missing the penalty at Euro 96. Sorry to bring it up. You talk about at 16, you were told to go in a completely different direction and become a travel agent. My goodness, life could have been different. So how do you cope with those failures? How do you pick yourself up and keep going?
Yeah, I think in any sports person, and it'd be the same in your world, I'm sure. How many auditions did you go for where you didn't get the parts and you think, oh, my goodness, I'm not good enough, and you doubt yourself. But what you learn as you get older is that those experiences bring you resilience. The sun still shines the next day, and you've got to get up with a positive attitude towards, okay, what's next? What can we go on to achieve? And I really do think that's a key thing. Although we want to protect our young people, we've also got to help them to build this resilience, because the world's a tough place and there are going to be knockbacks along the way, and how they're able to deal with them will determine how far they're able to go.
Did you initially reject the England job because there was a fear within you of failure?
Very much so. I mean, having experienced what I did in '96, that hurts. And I think the brain works in a way that it doesn't want to put you in those situations again. But I actually sat and watched Wales when they got to the semi-finals of the Euros 4 years ago. And an old teammate of mine, Chris Coleman, was the manager. And he spoke after the game about not being fearful of taking those challenges and how he'd had to step out and do that. And I was actually sat with my son and I was thinking, well, I'd be telling my son exactly that. And I've actually backed away from this challenge. I took myself out of that opportunity. And I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, no, if I'm going to talk about those things with my own son, then I've got to step out myself. And I'm so pleased I did, because the experiences I've had and the privilege of being the manager of the national team, something that has been an absolute honour. And I hope now, because I'm in a position where my voice can be heard, that we can make a positive difference to some young people as well.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. And there's some really lovely practical advice in there as well. And it talks about how when you enter into a situation, to kind of break down a challenge into bite-sized, more manageable pieces. And that's sort of how you approached the England team.
Well, definitely. We were 14th in the world when we took over. So, of course, it's easy for us to talk about being the #1 team in the world, but that was a long way away, and that can be quite frightening. So how do you break that down? Basically, you've then got to start winning the bigger matches more consistently, but that's a product of what you do every day on the training pitch and how we work together in the gym and what our culture is. So in the end, you're breaking it down into things that you can control: your attitude, how well you sleep, how well you eat, rather than things that are a little bit outside your control. Winning or losing to a degree is outside our control, but the way we prepare and the way we train is absolutely something we can affect. And concentrating on the bits you can control, I think, is key.
What about you when you do take that waistcoat off and you go home? Are you as capable at home as you are everywhere else? I mean, how are your kitchen skills? How's your DIY?
Family are all shouting in the other room now and giving you the truth. Absolutely hopeless, disaster. But yeah, I'm just narrowly ranked behind the children and the dogs in the house. But I'm comfortable with this. I know my place. I know my place.
Oh, Gareth, it's really lovely to see you. This is the book, and
Well
there's
done. This
chock
is,
full of
I
information.
think this is a really important one. There you go. Anything is possible. Dream big.
Yeah.
Dream big.
Thank you for having me. I know you both do a lot of great work with the Prince's Trust as well, and all the proceeds are going towards there. So I really appreciate you allowing me to come on and speak about it.
No, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Gareth.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.